Hello guys, I am back with the con and I'm so excited that we're doing this again. You guys don't know about it, but we've done it a couple times now, and so this is great to have it on camera this time. And so we're going to be starting off with the usual. But first we go, I've been doing something a little bit different in the beginning of these. My stated goal now is going to be I would like to have 500, no, I already have 500. I want to have 1,000 followers by the beginning of the season. This is my stated goal. What's your goal?
By the beginning of the season, probably 13K. Just
13K.
probably
Nice.
another K, probably another
Nice.
thousand. Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
And you know what the thing is, like I'm stating it to the beginning of the season, but as long as it takes, it's about the journey for me, and I'm sure it is for you too. So
Yes, sir.
we'd like to have them now, but if it takes a little bit of time, we're more than welcome because it's about the racing. So all right, so speaking of which, who do you got for 2026? The drivers and the constructors.
So for the drivers' championship, I have George Russell. We have to hit with the hand pause. I can't fit it
Mhm,
in frame, but
mhm.
have to hit it with the hand pause. I just think Merckx probably got the best engine overall. I mean, obviously, if the engine stuff changes midway through the season,
Yeah,
it could turn into a problem for them. But I still think they have it. They have a clear 1-2 with George and with Kimmy, and then Merck as well, just as a team. They're very cohesive. They work
they're
together very
connected.
well,
They're
very
connected.
connected.
Yeah.
I think they won't have any issues keeping everyone together. So I'd have to go with Merck and George Russell
Merck and
for
George Russell. Now, okay, so let's talk about the battle between Kimmy and George. Um, Kimmy is the new firebrand.
yes, sir.
And George is Captain Consistency or Mr. Consistency, whatever you want to call him, whatever funny nickname you want to call the guy, he can drive.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I think Mercedes may end up in a bit of a scenario where they have two really, really good drivers. And I don't know, what do you think is gonna what how do you think that will manifest? Do you think Kimmy's ready to put a challenge, or you think this is gonna be a clinic?
I think Kimmy's ready, but I think they'll back George regardless.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I don't think there will be an issue giving like being like, okay, we're giving it's George's time. We're giving
Mhm,
George the
mhm.
upper hand. I really it depends. If Kimmy comes out and starts blowing George out of the water, then it completely changes it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I don't think that's going to be a problem,
Okay.
realistically.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And I think you're probably right about that. Mercedes does a much better job of management than McLaren does when it comes to the drivers, because I honestly think they always gave Valtteri an honest shake. And
Hmm.
what we
Hmm.
saw with Lewis before that, with the fighting and the teammates, I think they've always been where they'll allow it to happen until it gets to the point where somebody's clearing in advance. I kind of prefer that. I understand the McLaren thing, but they spent so much time trying to project the fact that they're fair that they almost lost something in the process, I think.
Yeah, I feel like they were almost trying too hard to where it was obvious.
Yeah.
It
Yeah, for
wasn't
sure.
like there wasn't it was so obvious that they were trying to like be as fair as possible
Mhm. Mm.
that they didn't take a stand at all.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
and towards the end until the end realistically, but even towards the end they were still pushing Oscar just as much as they were pushing Lando.
I'm gonna be saying this to the day I die, man. I think it's crazy how Lando was beating the pants off of, or not Lando, Oscar was beating the pants off Lando for the first half of the year, and then summer break happened. Oscar forgets how to drive for a brief moment until Lando catches up, and then he can suddenly drive again. It's
Mhm.
like, I
Mhm.
mean, I'm sure there are reasons, and but it's just odd to me.
Mhm.
All right,
No, it's very odd.
who do you got for the 20? No, I skipped one. Who is one bad season away from losing their seat?
Man, you're going to do this to me.
Yes.
Oh, dude. Honestly, I have to say Franco. Like you
Okay.
have to.
Let me
What?
ask you something.
Chime
Okay,
in.
Franco, I think is the best, most consistent answer that I've gotten from
Mhm.
almost everybody. Aside from, we've had a couple that really like Franco, but I mean, just from racing aspect, I think Franco is the right
Mhm.
answer. So I'll start with that.
Okay.
So
Okay.
if it's not Franco, who can let's make it interesting. Other than Franco, who do you think really just doesn't have that much time left on the grid if they don't start well?
I've told you this before. It's Esteban. I don't
That's fine.
like him. I
Yeah.
don't like him. I have no I don't know what it is. I just have no care if he's there or if he's not there.
Yeah.
He doesn't do
Yeah.
anything for me. So,
I'm agreeing with you because, like, I feel like you're right. Okay, that he doesn't. I compare him to Alex Albon all the time, except for
mhm,
Alex is a monster behind the wheel, and there's a lot of
true.
things that happen when he's behind
Mhm,
the wheel of a car. You can tell he's making things happen, and I feel like Esteban has his moments, but they are few and far in between. And I'm
mhm.
pretty sure his teammate beat his behind last year too. So
Yes.
There's
Yeah.
that. Yeah. I think we're in agreement. I think he
Hmm.
has to go. And well, so if for no other reason that there's a crazy log jam right now, there's a lot of drivers that deserve a shot, or I won't say deserve, but there's a lot of drivers that you could feasibly put in there and might get a better result with. Um,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
then, you've got Colton Herta, for instance, who's literally abandoned his whole career in order to do this. How many more times are we going to have guys like that that are well qualified and looking for a seat, and then you have Esteban kind of hanging out? You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Where they're
Frankie.
not necessarily progressing, they're just kind of
Yeah.
there, and
Yeah.
then it can give somebody else a shot. Like
Hmm. Hmm.
so.
Well, so I look at it like if you look at Schumacher's history, like how he got started, if you look at um Hamilton was a recruit. A lot of these guys that would not have gotten an opportunity if you had people that basically hung out in seats and never actually, like, at a certain point, even with Alonso and things like that, Alonso's so
Mhm.
frustrated at this point, man. Like, at some point he's gonna break. You know what
Yes.
I
Yeah.
mean?
No, they're not going to get rid of him. It's up to him. It's the
No,
same
that's
thing with
true.
Stroll. It's the
Yeah.
same. Both of those
Yeah.
seats. It's like it's up to them.
Yeah, which so the Stroll thing makes perfect sense because that's his dad. But
Yeah.
it's odd to me that Lawrence Stroll seems like a very, very in control guy, not a control freak, but an in control guy. Like, he makes all the decisions. And with that being said, it's odd to me that Fernando seems to move as freely about as he does. It seems like like you said, he's gonna be the one to decide this thing, and it seems like Lawrence Stroll would be the one to make that decision.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
maybe it's just that he's been around for so long that it's just a respect thing, you think?
Yeah, I would say that's what it is, and he doesn't want to step on his toes because if he does, it just looks bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it looks bad to the public if he's going out there and
Mhm.
just kind of forcing Fernando to do what he wants him to do.
Yeah. What's your read on the Aston Martin thing with the I kind of I'm curious if I don't think aerodynamicism, I don't think that's a word, don't quote me, but you know what I mean. I
Hmm.
don't think aerodynamics
Hmm.
is going to be as big of a deal in this era as the engine will be.
Yeah, and it's almost more shocking that there, well, like with Nui, that it's just in general that it's as much of a dog pile as it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that wasn't what anyone was expecting at
Mm,
all.
mm,
Like you can't say you have him behind like the lead of developing the car and it turns into this.
yeah.
It's just shocking.
Yeah. And
Like
they were chasing Max. And like,
yeah,
how are you attracting Max with this? You know what
yeah,
I mean?
you're not going to like because
Yeah.
there were a bunch of rumors, prior to this
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
they wanted to try to get Max and like to put Nui back with Max, but at this point, he's not going to want to go there if the car is that bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Well,
there's no chance.
and I trust that. So the thing about that is, Fernando and Max are friends, or at least really good acquaintances. And so, in the background, their private conversations, Fernando is slowly but surely easing his way out, because he even started having conversations about, I don't necessarily need to be a driver on the grid. I can be, in the background, things like that. He
Hmm.
started having those talks, which never happened with Fernando before. And
Hmm.
so, him and Max are having conversations.
Oh, for
And
sure.
with Toto in the background, like courting him, and Aston Martin, all these other teams that are doing everything they can to get him. Oscar might move at some point. These teams have got to put their best foot forward if they want to attract, the top talent, I think. You know.
Hmm. Hmm. No question. They have to.
All right, so we're changing liveries. Which 26 livery would you like to see redesigned?
Audi. It looks like a Duracell battery. I know Williams has a Duracell
Right?
battery, but it's Audi. It looks like an Energizer battery shaped like a Duracell battery,
Do they look like
and
more of a Duracell battery than the actual Duracell
it
battery?
does. It does. Yeah, to me it does. It looks more like a battery, and it makes me mad because it's just like silver and like that matte red. I don't even know what color it is.
Mhm, mhm.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of it. I don't know why, and it could be because it's new. Like I love
Uh,
Cadillacs, but
it
yeah.
was okay when you saw it at first and they had it at that little angle where it almost looked like it was going to be clean. And then they
Mhm.
showed it from the top. And it was like, what is
Mhm.
that?
Mhm.
Who did this? And see, and that's how I know there's enough money in the world for everybody, because somebody got paid very handsomely for that design. And
Mhm.
after they did it, like 18 different people said, "Yeah, that's it. That's the one."
We want that one. We
I want
want
to
that
see the
one.
ones that didn't make the cut.
Well, it's like half of the fan design liveries are awesome.
Mhm,
Like,
mhm.
I was like, half of them, I'm like, let's go with that.
Unbelievable.
I'd
Unbelievable.
pick any of them.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
It would be
it's
a PR one, it would be a PR firestorm. I
mhm,
don't think Cadillac can do it. I don't think Cadillac can leave it to the customer or to the
mhm,
customer, to the fan base, and I think, you'll understand what I mean by this. So, I think a team like Audi can do it, Haas, okay, look, teams that can't do it. I don't think Ferrari can do it. I don't
no
think,
way.
I don't think, I just started who were we just talking about? Oh, Audi, I think Audi can do it. But
Mhm,
I don't think Ferrari. Who's the other? McLaren. I think you're going to run into problems with McLaren. I think Aston Martin may not be able to do it just from a standpoint of like who they are as a company. Cadillac, I don't think they can.
mhm.
But the rest of the teams on the grid, I don't think you'd have a lot of problems with literally a fan run competition and
I
say
agree.
best
I
one,
agree. I
you know.
agree. Yeah, I don't think almost Merc would let it happen, but I Red Bull
Yeah,
definitely
there's another
would.
one.
Red Bull definitely would because I mean,
Hmm.
it's
That
yeah,
that's how
like
that's their brand.
yeah, exactly.
And
They like to get everyone involved in everything.
you see what I mean by that? By like Cadillac and Ferrari and Mercedes, teams like that, where it just you just
Mhm.
couldn't. I don't think they have too much of a PR engine behind them to
Mhm.
allow something like that to happen.
Yes,
You know what I
agreed.
mean?
No, there's too much that not that it would go wrong, but it could just be more of a hassle. They have a brand that they're trying to convey too much.
Hmm. You know, so this is random. But we were talking about Red Bull a second ago on how what their energy,
Mhm.
what their go to is, and there's something interesting that I saw, and this was like a year and a half, 2 years ago. I would not be shocked if Monster Energy ended up on the grid at some point. And
I
this
wouldn't
is
be
why.
either.
This is why. So check this out. I went to I think it was either Coda or I think it was Canada though, one of the two races. And they have the fan zone set up all over the place.
Mhm.
And Red Bull has their own little place, Coke has their own little place. They all have their own little setups. Freaking Monster Energy had an entire section. It must have been a quarter of an acre all to themselves. They had like it looked like what you see in the videos when they're shooting those super cool videos. I mean, they had dirt bikes, they had energy drinks, and the girls running around handing them out. They everything you would think Red Bull would have, they had. And Red Bull had like a little section, like handing out little. They had the Red Bull girls out there handing out things, but
Mhm.
they had a
Yeah.
literal section. Like they put a lot of invested a lot of money into that. I'm like,
Yeah.
why would you? I get that you're competing with Red Bull, but why would you go so hard? You know what I mean? Like they went
Yeah.
super hard. And so in my mind, it's like it seems like they're poking around to see if this is something they might be interested in the future. You know, whether
Well,
it be a go ahead.
I was gonna say, and it seems odd too with like them even like sponsoring Lewis directly. Like, you know, the
Uh-huh.
Monster
I
logo is
forgot
I
about
have like
that.
all the Merc hats with the Monster logo on them.
Ah,
Like it's
I forgot
on the
about
brim
that.
of the hat.
Right.
And then like giving Lewis, you give him his own flavor, you give Lando
Mm-hmm.
his own flavor.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I
where they're
hadn't
sponsoring the
Lando too.
drivers
You're right.
directly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like,
I could see it, especially with so Red Bull's gone over a lot of leadership changes in the last,
mhm.
several, I'd say let's say 2 years. They've done a lot, maybe even 3 years. They've been making changes in leadership a lot. Well, since
Oh yeah.
Dietrich died. So let's say
Mhm.
that. So that's been happening ever since. And there was a lot of talk about them completely removing themselves out of the Formula One atmosphere altogether. And
I
then
do
that kind of
remember
got
this.
poo-pooed or remember, right? And so in my mind, I'm wondering if those two things are coinciding, where it was like Red Bull was looking for a way out, so to speak, and Monster's poking around with all, like you said, the sponsorships. And I was talking about the event they had. It Part of me thinks that the snobbish way Formula One kind of goes about letting teams onto the grid kind of deters other teams because I'm surprised Porsche isn't there, Lamborghini, other teams like
Mhm.
that, which would be natural fits there in other motorsports. Lambo is too, yeah. And so I kind of feel like Formula One is its own worst enemy, where they need a 12th team on the grid probably, and they just refuse to do it just because they've got all these bylaws.
Yeah. No, and it because even like I remember all the problems with Cadillac even like attempting to get on there. Like there was all sorts they were like gonna let them and they weren't gonna let them and then they ended up letting them on. But
Yeah,
it
they
just
want to pick
turned into a
Andretti.
mess.
Like,
Yeah,
which is nuts.
exactly. And I'm like it's just it's a yeah. And
He's
I'm like
literally Formula One royalty. You know what I
yeah.
mean? And they
And
let
I
Flavio back.
yeah, you're letting him back. And
Oh,
he's a walking PR disaster. Like
yes, it's gonna happen.
realistically,
It's gonna
oh
happen.
yeah, something's gonna happen.
The
And
funniest thing. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
it just seems like I don't think having 12 teams would hurt the grid. I don't think you can have more than 12, but I
No,
don't think 12 would hurt. Like
no. And I feel like the 12th edition, it's gonna happen. Like
in the
I
next
could,
5 years.
yeah, for sure. And
Yeah.
I would be shocked if it took that long, because I think that the nonsense they were talking about, where they don't know if Andretti can actually add value to the grid, was nonsense. That was almost laughable when they said that. And then they said, I don't know if these guys can be competitive, which is even more ridiculous. And so it's
Yes.
like they were looking for a reason to keep these guys out. And now that they've gotten the path in, one, I wouldn't be. I'm so shocked that Haas hadn't been bought out yet. Like, I know people have tried, but I'm shocked that it hadn't actually happened yet.
Oh,
Especially
me
all the
too.
money they were losing in the beginning. The money in the background must be unbelievable for these guys, man.
Mhm. Mhm.
It
Mhm.
must be.
Dude, it's
Uh,
got to be ridiculous.
okay, you're at F1 Stewart. You're changing one thing. What are we changing?
I'm not necessarily changing anything. I'm just putting something back. We're putting the point for the fastest lap back. Why take it away? Why take it away? What
Yeah,
does it hurt?
yeah.
What does it hurt? It was already just for the top 10 anyways, so it's like
Mhm.
what does it hurt?
Okay, check this out. The last last interview I did, he floated the idea of the top 15, and I was vehemently against it until he explained why. And so I like it being top 10
Curious.
because for the reasons that we know, don't make it a useless point, but make it a point for, you got to be in at least top 10 so it matters for the championship, right?
Are you talking top 15 for the fastest lap or top
Yeah.
15 for okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, top 15. I think it was top 15 for the fast. The point will remain regardless of which
Okay.
which the situation. But the idea was, for instance, last year, I think it was Haas that ended up with a random second or fourth, like fourth place or something like that, and they got a
Mhm.
crazy amount of points for it. And so their positioning at the end of the year is solely dictated on the fact that something random happened in the race where they ended up being third. And the other teams, unless something crazy happens, will likely not have an opportunity to end up in that top five and get those points. And so at the end of the year, I think it was Haas, it may have been Williams, but whatever team it was ended up with that chunk of points and therefore ended up like best of the rest just
Yeah,
because of
like
that
6th
random.
because of that. Yeah.
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 And so I'm thinking, let that happen. That happens. That's racing. But then allow the bottom five teams to gain that extra point, to gain those extra that extra fastest lap, because those extra points may then accumulate to ending up getting them a better position at the end of the year. And his wasn't the fastest lap. His was there should be points for the top 15. And so same kind of concept, but
hmm
you get the
Well,
idea.
even like points, I mean, realistically now, I think since they added two, it should be top 11. I think you
Okay.
should keep it
Okay.
as I think you should keep it as a halfway because I'm like, why
Mhm.
not? I'm like, that's how it has been. There's
Mhm.
20 of them. You give it to the top half.
Uh-huh,
I
uh-huh.
mean, I think 11th should get one. You just bump everything up a point,
True.
realistically, just because with 22 versus 20,
Mhm.
like then you're leaving 12 people without points every race.
How long do you think before Cadillac can actually start making a dent in this thing? Do you think it's an all year thing, or do you think they'll figure it out closer to, mid year?
With the way the regs are, I could see them figuring out. I mean, because with having Valtteri and having Checo, they could have a
Mhm.
race where they figure it out.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
not having people that don't know the tracks. The drivers, they know what they're doing.
Okay. That's a
They're
good point.
more than capable of. They can get lucky and they can take the car home and
Yeah.
finish something, even
Yeah.
if it's a disaster.
Mhm. That's especially
So
Checo. Especially Checo.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Valtteri is such like he's a mystery to me, man, because he can drive. I'm not gonna
Mhm.
say he can't. And one thing I did like about Valtteri the most is that he was able to admit to himself that he wasn't good enough to beat Lewis. And so he slotted himself into the team role much better than somebody else might, for instance, who's still doing everything they can to beat. Like, I think he was still doing what he could to beat Lewis, but at the same time, he understands what his role in the team is.
Mhm.
And with I keep bringing McLaren up. With McLaren, the way they manage their situation, I almost hate it that they won because it seems like they did it right. It's so obviously the wrong thing to do with the teammates.
Mhm.
And so
Mhm.
I can
And
come up for days about those guys, man.
my only thing is I don't know if for that it got different because they're younger.
Hmm.
Both of them are
Okay.
younger and
Okay.
they both have something to prove. Where
You're
it's
almost
like when you're in
50%
your
right
younger
about that.
20s, you're like, oh, I need to do this. Like I have to.
You're 1,000% right about that. You know what? You're right because we don't know if Oscar is going to ever have an opportunity to win again.
Hmm.
Like he did that car. This we don't know if the McLaren's going to be there this year. It may not be, and
Hmm.
they may not have the opportunity to go back and win another championship. So you're right. You're right. The hunger is probably still very, very. How old is Valtteri? He,
I don't know off the top of
he's
my head. I do not know.
he's one of those guys you can't really tell how old he is. He's been around
No,
for a bit,
no.
but okay. Keep one, lose one, reverse one. You have Monza. We have the Red Bull Ring. We have Las Vegas. Which one are you keeping? Which one are you losing? Which one is reversed?
Okay. I'm keeping the Red Bull ring.
Done.
I'm reversing Vegas, and I'm losing Monza. The
Monza has to
reason
go.
being, the reason being, I'm reversing Vegas because the FIA Formula One, Liberty Media, they're never going to get rid of Vegas. They've
Never.
put too much money into it. There's no way. They can't. They can't. It's too in
Never
terms
could.
of the United States market. It's too big. It
Yeah.
gets everyone talking about it, even if they do not care about Formula One. If they don't care about racing in general, they're
Hmm.
like, "Oh, Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen are in Vegas." They see all
Yeah.
the ads. They see
Yeah.
everything. They're like, "Oh, this is awesome," and it just gets everyone talking about it. The Red Bull Ring, I literally just like the track, and I don't think
Yeah.
it's something that should go. And Monza just for the reason that it's the last one left out of the
Yeah.
three.
Monza's got to go. You know what? So, one, they absolutely will never get rid of that Vegas race. And I think we both can agree there are plenty of places they could go that would make for better racing. You know?
Mm-hmm.
And looking at your hell, they can go to Detroit. Guaranteed
Mm-hmm.
they can get some good
Mm-hmm.
racing there,
Mm-hmm.
And I'm more of a fan of like I understand the street circuit and the appeal of it, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of like and I love watching like IndyCar and go through a rant like go through like Nashville or something like that.
Yeah.
Super interesting to see those things go through, but I also understand why like purpose-driven tracks are like important. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Oh,
tracks
I
that
agree.
help.
I think they need to have a good split of both.
Yeah. Yeah, right. You know, and the thing is with Vegas, that's the part that drives me crazy about Vegas. They've got the Vegas Grand Prix, and then they planted it in the middle of the strip instead of that vast amount of desert they have literally everywhere else all around Vegas. There's literally
Mm-hmm.
nothing but land for them to do this on. They could have built the perfect track,
Mm-hmm.
but they built kind of a ridiculous track in Vegas already. So I mean, I guess we
It's for
can't
the
have
lights. You get the lights, and you
yeah.
get all the atmosphere of the Strip of Vegas, and because everyone worldwide knows like the Vegas Strip. It's been
Do you
in
feel
so
like
many
they were
movies.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. Do you feel like they were chasing Singapore with the way they're kind of presenting the race as far as the night theme?
Oh, no doubtedly. It's
Mm,
obvious. Like, I mean, I think, and that's more to cater to like the North American audience
hmm.
versus where it's like
Yeah.
they know what Singapore is, but it's again, granted, like the Singapore race for me, it's on at like I think 7 or 8 a.m. in the morning,
Hmm. Hmm.
um, Sunday morning, whereas like Vegas is Saturday night at 11 p.m.
Vegas is it's so hard for me to stay awake from Vegas. Man.
Mm-hmm.
I even get a cup of
Mm-hmm.
coffee like right before the race starts, and it's killing me, man. It's so late. I'm
Mm-hmm.
old.
Yeah. Well, that first year was rough because I mean, for me, it was midnight Eastern time, and I'm like,
Mhm.
oh gosh. Like, I mean, even like that's why like China always sucks because it's like 3 in the morning, and I'm like, if I have to watch this, I'm gonna wake up and go to bed.
And
But yeah.
the thing about it is, we all have the capability of watching the race later, but my fear is that I'm gonna miss something that happens live that they can't show. And I don't mean
Mhm.
like somebody dying or anything. Nobody needs to see that. But I mean, just like there are things in the race that get edited or changed out, or things
Mhm.
that are live in the moment that you don't really understand is happening, or the conversation is so live online that you end up seeing something you shouldn't and realize, oh,
Mhm.
Lando won the race, and I thought, da, 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 you know what I mean? It kind of
Yeah, or you
ruins
just
it
have
all.
to not check your phone.
Yeah, to shut that thing off for sure.
Yeah. Be like, I'm not touching anything until after I finish watching this.
Yeah,
So,
for sure. That happens too much. So
oh, for sure.
tell me, bucket list races. Do you have any bucket list races you want to go to or want to see that you want to see live?
Singapore.
Singapore, nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And probably the Red Bull Ring, to be honest.
Hmm. I'm thinking about. So here's the thing about the races we have here stateside. I go to Canada every year, and
Hmm.
sometimes I miss Austin. Austin's a 5 hour drive for me, but I
Hmm.
go to Canada, which is a flight, plus.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. For you. Yeah.
And so interestingly enough, sometimes it's cheaper for me to go all the way to Canada than it is for me to drive down to Austin which
Yeah.
is
Well,
crazy.
because
Yeah.
yeah, it's cheaper because I'm in Michigan. It's cheaper for me to go to Montreal than it is to go to either Miami or Austin.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
it's cheaper and it's drastically cheaper, which doesn't it is what it is, but
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
not much you're able to do about it.
No complaint, because I mean like you said, it is what it is. And it is expensive, but at the end of the day, like I was looking at Singapore, for instance, and if you're willing to be creative with the way you do your flights, Singapore is cheap. Uh,
Mhm.
Suzuka is cheap, depending on
I
how,
I
like,
even looked Australia is not bad either.
really.
But
I never
realistically,
looked into that.
no. I'm like spend a week or 2 over there, turn it into
Hmm.
a vacation, and I'm like,
Hmm.
it
Yeah.
was like to go to Australia for me, it would have been roughly like $300, $400 more than Miami. And I'm like, at
And you
that
can go
point,
to Australia.
I'd rather go to Australia.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
Yeah.
care. Like,
Hmm.
I'd rather go spend 2 weeks over there and
Hmm.
then go down to Florida.
And there's nothing wrong with the Miami race, or the Vegas race, but I think there's probably the same people, from across season. Now it's not going to be cheaper for them, but I think a
Mhm.
lot of times they think, I want to see the spectacle of Miami, I want to see the spectacle of Las Vegas, and I can do Monza next year, or I can do Suzuka, or
Mhm.
Silverstone next year, and so it's probably the same way for these guys, but we need to what we need is a worldwide creator fund where we just get people to donate to us and we can just travel the races. I mean, we'll report on them. I mean, we'll
Mhm.
we'll we'll tell
Oh,
people what's going on.
obviously.
I
Yes.
mean,
Mhm.
that's
Dude,
what
no, I
we
agree. I agree.
All right, man. I really appreciate you jumping on and doing this with me again. I was thinking about tell me what you think about this idea. I want to set something up to where, let's say, Australia's done, and I'm gonna put a link out to everybody that we've done these chats with, and be like, hey, anybody that's free, jump on, and we'll just have a chat about the race, and we'll just all just converse
Mhm.
about what the race was like, and just literally leave it open to whoever's available. Not,
I
hey,
would love
can
to.
you make sure I'm signing you up for this date or nothing like that. It's just,
Mhm.
hey, the time we know what time the race ends, and we're gonna talk for 30 minutes after the race about the race, kind of like they do, you know what I mean? And kind of get
Oh,
a
yeah.
little more, I think so. What I think is interesting is your perspective, for instance, is very different from the next person I talk to, and it's all the perspectives that I've spoken to have been narratives that are way different than the national narrative. You know what I mean? And I don't want to say they're
Mhm.
pushing us one way or another, but I mean by, like, just the way they report things, the way they talk about things, they're kind of constrained differently than we are because we're just fans at the end of the day that like chatting about this stuff. So if I say something about Christian Horner, it lands a lot differently than, you know,
Mhm. Oh, absolutely.
Laura Winter might say something, and her words have consequences, I guess. And
Yes.
you know what I mean. Not
Yes.
literally, but you know what I mean.
Yes. Yes. More
Christian Horner
so.
is a
Yes.
terrible example for that, but you know what I mean.
I
Um,
fully understand.
and so, like, but we can have playful chat banner and stuff like that, and we don't have to be quote unquote PC about it. We can just have conversation like normal people, and I think a lot of fans will really enjoy that. You know.
Mhm. I agree. No, it'd be awesome.
And so
Be a
anyway,
great time.
that's the idea that's been rolling around in my head, and so I'll hit you up for sure, let you know when we're doing stuff like that. But again, thanks a lot. This was great, and I'll let you know when we're putting it up.
All right. No problem, man. Thank you for having me. I
All
appreciate
right,
it.
guys, like, subscribe, follow, do what you need to do. We're getting you do 13K or 14?
Yes, sir. 13.
13, and I'm looking to get to 1K. So let's do that together, man. I really appreciate you.